Did you know Dump City recommends you get out now and then? Hey everyone, Brento here. Welcome to another episode of Dump City. Obviously, I'm not going to go out and stop playing video games. I'm going to do my incursions in the video game. So check this out here. I finally fully ascended. I got all my points here. I'm now level 90 and a little bit better than before. There we go. There's my axe from last week, fully equipped and ready to go. So what's on the show this week? We're going to discuss the key rooms that make Incursion special. If you're doing Incursion, you probably want to know what rooms are worth getting and what are the best rewards so you don't waste your time doing it. We're going to talk about a man who got a pig heart in a transplant. And then finally, we'll do some Incursion examples. But before we do that, we got to do the item of the week. So you can see it right here. Look at this. Look at this armor. It's fractured. Isn't that insane? Look at the quality and the armor and the energy shield on that. That's a real item of the week. Okay, 6 linked. I threw a couple of these ichors on it. See this here? You've got these in your stash here. Could throw a couple here. If you get something this godly by now, throw a couple on. That's how I got the block attempt, or the block attack damage, and the maximum cold resist added. See, this item's only level 77, so that's the only negative to it. It's not godly yet, but we're getting there. So I wouldn't waste all these ichors on it. I got like 30 or 40 of these now, so I was like, you know what, I'll just throw a basic one on, see what happens. And then I can re-roll this later, maybe get better socket colors or whatever. Runner-up item is this here. Item level 76, not great, but look at the fracture. Tier 3, physical damage, great for my class. Comes with a 5-link too. That's another thing. Fracture weapon with 5-link. I could make a great leap slam. Who knows? Okay, we'll see. Maybe this will be my weapon later. But it's definitely a very good item. Now, before we get too far into Incursion and doing some examples here, well, let's quickly do more tips for noobs. Okay, so we're going to do a short one this week because frankly there's a lot of content to cover here, and I'm just going to do a few basic ones. So tip number 1, these orbs of horizon in your inventory, see what they do here? Reforge a map of another as the same tier. So let's say you're over here and you have a bunch of tier 11 maps, okay, but you want to do this arcade map, but you don't have the arcade map. You put a orb of horizon on it, and there you go. You can get a map. That's what they're for. And once you get to a high enough level, you're not gonna. There might be some situations where you're looking for a unique map or some repeatable map. You'll use it for that, but it's especially handy when finishing all your maps in the progression of the atlas. Another thing, Incursion itself, when you do these maps here, this is a great way to test how good your poison, your corrupted blood, and generally your chaos resistance is. So be sure to be chaos resistance capped by now, and or have immunity to corrupted blood or poison, or a set of in my case here, I got a potion here. I got good, chaos resistances here. I appear to be almost capped, but if I summon a chaos golem, I'm capped. So before you do any kind of stuff like this, especially Incursion, really focus on getting chaos resistance capped by now. Have multiple ways of doing it, and have plenty of potions that help you remove poison. This is kind of a test for that, because it's not just Incursion, but just in general. You're going to see more and more of this as you get to the harder and harder stuff. Another thing is continually reorganize your tabs. Now, when stuff comes in, I'm always redoing things a little bit. My intake here is a little bit more efficient. I'm only really recombining amethyst rings and the basic rings here, and I'm throwing out more stuff. Here I keep my alternate items, like in my alternate gems. Like these are, I shouldn't say they're alternate. They're actually regular items I use and regular gems, but it's kind of my active area. And I constantly clean out and reprioritize secondary and tertiary tabs. Like, look at this cool staff here. It's fractured with a chance to freeze. Maybe I'll make a Frost Wizard Marauder later, later in the season. But that's on tab 3, so that's not exactly top priority. And to be honest, I had a few of these staffs, but I was just being an idiot, and I threw out a couple of them by now. And you should be always throwing stuff out. My tabs for flasks, I've moved my tinctures to it, and I've reduced the amount of flasks I collect. This now has flask affinity to it, so I can now grab a flask and just drop them all in on the left side here, and then later check if they're better than the existing flasks. So that's an improvement there. Keep your crafting, relevant crafting materials. Might use some of these flasks for creating chaos resistant amulets and rings later. Okay, that's a vendor recipe worth noting. Keep your maps and your scarabs for the maps in a section. And then finally have a trade tab. Again, I'm solo self-found, so this is kind of like the holding area before I delete it section. So just keep reorganizing your stuff. Whatever algorithm or what your understanding of the game was in the first few levels is going to change. You should be able to go back and rethink some stuff. And then finally, if you're getting far into the atlas and you want to have a second atlas, make a second atlas tree, but don't use the same skills. So in this case, my original atlas, it went up the middle here. I spent some points to respec this part here and decided to go on this line here. I think in general, it might make sense to have one that focuses on the left and one focusing on the right, and maybe one that goes up the middle, or another version of the specialization. Another cool thing is when I did this new shortcut with my new respec, I'm actually cutting through these incursion nodes here. So that's kind of why I decided to do a show on incursion. I'm that, pathetic in a way that's how I get my motivation. It's just something like that. It's like, well, I got to go through there. I may as well do a show on that just because of that. But if you don't want to do incursion specialization, go to the other side here and maybe say no incursion spawns at all, something like that. Okay, go down this one. When you do go down these main corridors of points, you do have this option of blocking too. So keep that in mind. Use your other atlas trees once you get further up and you want to have a different type of target in terms of content and loot. All right, so let's get on to the incursion basics here. I guess the most basic question is, why do incursion? The main reason, I would say, is the corruption. It's the only place you can do, that I know of, that you can reliably do double corruptions. There might be some other mechanics out there. I'm not an absolute expert at this game, but I know that you can double corrupt jewels and double corrupt just items in general, and also get some really good uniques. There's some uniques worth divines here. Get items like the Mask of the Stitch Demon, Shadow Stitch Body Armor, Apex Supremacy Shield, the Transcendent Flesh Jewel, Coward's Legacy Belt, and the Soul Ripper Quartz Flask, to name a few fairly valuable items found in Incursion, in addition to the double corrupting ability that you might want to use on items if you unlock the right rooms. Okay, so this guide is designed to help you identify the key rooms to unlock and provide tips on how to most efficiently build your temple. I'm going to assume you know a little bit about the basics. You've done the campaign, you know how Alva works. And the first 2 seasons I played this, I could build a temple, but was it a good temple? Did I know what the rooms did? Did I have a good strategy? Absolutely not. And if someone would have put a video together and said, oh, here's all the options in the corruption room and just recited, I probably would have went over my head. I'm just going to show you the highlights, and I'm going to the things you're looking for, okay? So that as a noob, you can get the best items without having to do too much work, okay? So, first off, you want Alva to spawn on your maps, and you do incursions, and you unlock rooms in the temple. This room has 11 random unconnected or untiered rooms. Okay, see this one here? This is untiered. Okay, or you can have tier 1 rooms that have an ability that you can swap with new rooms depending on who you kill, which you probably know by now. But more specifically, and this is something I did not know until my 3rd season, to get a key to connect to the next rooms, you have to kill a rare monster in the incursion. It's not a completely random drop. It's maybe random within the rare monster drops, but that's how the keys spawn. Killing the architects either change the room or upgrades it. So you're basically, when you do these incursions, you're targeting a rare right away, or you're targeting an architect right away. For a list of all the room behaviors shown here, just check out the link in the description. There's some information on that. If you want to connect to the top of the temple, however, this is where you'll meet the final boss called the Vaal Omnitect. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a real word. This is this Omnitect is the guy who drops the vials. Okay, and these, for example, there's one called the Vial of Summoning, where several divines, they combine with a unique that may have dropped elsewhere to provide an even better unique as a planned recipe. It's not random what you get with these vials. It's a very specific recipe. Think of, if you've played World of Warcraft, think of it as like your tier 5 token you mix with something else to get your tier 5 armor. You're getting a very specific item when you get the vials and combine it with existing drops elsewhere. Okay, so there's some information on what those recipes generate in the description as well. There's tons. This episode has more links in the description than any other episode yet. I had to do some homework with this one. So what's the incursion strategy? You can see there's 2 incursions remaining in this map here. Okay, there's a countdown timer. By default, you get 12 attempts per temple, then the temple spawns. If you've spawned your temple and you're wondering, how come I'm not getting more incursions? Well, maybe go visit Alva in Act 7 here and view your temple. Okay, maybe your temple's ready to go. And of course, if you have a hideout, you can go and check that out. And I would recommend this too. You'll notice I have a bunch of NPCs in my hideout. I have Alva here too. So once you've done all 12 of your incursions, you must do it. Okay. So yeah, if you haven't seen them in a while, go check Alva. Maybe that your temple's been waiting and you've been wasting your opportunity to go get poisoned immediately and wipe. Okay. Or maybe you're missing your opportunity to get some great items. In general, when you're building it and you're doing the incursions, I'd recommend focusing on connecting to key rooms. Okay. Connecting to connecting to pits, that was almost a waste. There's nothing even in there. It's more important to get connected to the top and fully upgrading the best rooms than it is to connect to every room. Okay, so that's very important to know. I just tried to connect to everything. I thought the more the merrier the first few seasons, but that was me as a complete noob. Now I'm less of a noob. You should decide what you're going to kill first. Are you going to look for a rare? And are you going to unlock a connection as the highest priority? Or are you going right after the Omnitect to upgrade the room first? Okay, in my case, I'm fully connected here. I'm doing a show. I want to make sure I can at least get to the boss for the show. I don't know if I'm going to get all my rooms upgraded in time. And if I don't, so be it. I'm here just to explain how they work, not to demonstrate every single one of them, because the RNG probability of that happening in a single temple, all the useful ones, is impossible. Keep in mind too, when you do these, when you unlock these connections, there's not always enough keys to match the number of doors you need to unlock. Quite often I'll see there's 3 ways I could connect to the next room, but only 1 key will drop. So always have at least 1, maybe 2 corridors planned to unlock once you grab the key. We'll go over some examples later on that. So in general, you want to sprint up to the top right or the bottom left of the room whenever it spawns. And you're going to want to use a quicksilver flask to do this. So there is a little bit of itemization for this. Furthermore, if you want to do it like me and make it much easier, go into your Atlas tree and choose the right skills. So I'm going to show you a few here that make this much easier. And again, if you have multiple Atlas trees unlocked and you want to do something on one side of the board, again, this varies. The position of these skills and the season you're watching this video might vary. Okay, so there's one called Vaal Oligarchs. I think it's really good. It adds this unique monster in every incursion. You got to be a little bit stronger to do this, but it's just bonus loot. So it's like, yeah, get this one. Okay, so if you're doing a lot of incursions, why don't you get bonus loot while doing them? Another one here is there's always 4 incursions. So with this one here, basically every 3rd map you can get a new temple, so you don't have to be so picky about the rooms. You could just blast through it, create a temple. Is it any good? Nope. Well, rinse and repeat. Maybe the next spawn of 11 rooms is your best option. So this gives you lots of incursions and lets you cycle through rooms faster. This one here is really good. Time dilation. This gives me more time. These ones here, they let you provide some options here to upgrade your tiers and stuff like that. So get some points in them is another thing. With the right skills, you can get you can do a temple every 3 maps. So that's a big plus. A few other things. Okay, so when you're doing it, untiered maps will tell you what they will become in the preview of the incursion. We'll see that once we get to it. If the room is already tiered, you can either kill the top right architect to level it up, or you kill the bottom left architect. It becomes a new tier 1 version of the proposed new type of room. Okay, so a few notes here. The same room cannot spawn twice in the same map. So if you get 4 incursions spawn, and let's say you get the torture cages, you won't get the torture cages in the next 3. Okay, that's guaranteed. As well, if you kill any architect who's proposing a design at any stage while you're building the temple throughout all your maps, that architect will not spawn again. Let's say I accidentally killed this guy early on in my temple. He's not going to show up later. You have to do the temple and start over again. So if you've been looking for this one and it's not appeared, it's possible you accidentally killed him earlier on. So just do the temple and then start over again. Is all I got to say about that. Upgrading them often makes the content more difficult, so be sure not to juice the map beyond your current character's capabilities. While the final temple will not have shrines in it, there are things called tempests which offer buffs. So for detailed explanation on tempests, see another link in the description. Make it as easy as possible on yourself, essentially. One other tip here too. When I loaded this up and I wanted to do some incursions here, I noticed that I did not have the open incursion map set. This was not set by default. Okay, I made it an apostrophe. So this way, if I'm in an incursion, I can do the apostrophe. Okay, it doesn't work outside of the incursion, and that pauses the game for me. Here we go. We're going to do one map, and I'm going to try to get my last 2 incursions. And I'll show you the decision process as I do this. Before we do this, though, I want to talk about some of the key rooms here. Ahuana, the architect of ceremonies, can always guarantee a unique drop. So this is one of the rooms you want to look for. It starts off as the sacrifice chambers. Okay, so if you see sacrifice chambers, put that in your temple. And that allows for sacrificing a unique to get a completely random unique at tier 1. That's useful. For example, you could put any unique in and get a mage blood. Once you upgrade it to tier 2, the Hall of Offering, you sacrifice a unique for a unique of the same item class. So things like gloves, rings, belts, claws, one-handed axes, flasks, these would all be the same item class. So for example, a unique belt could become a mage blood. And then finally, a 3rd tier of the Architect of Ceremonies ability here is called the Apex of Ascension, which is the one that lets you combine the vials and the uniques that dropped elsewhere to get the very high-powered uniques as described. Okay, so for example, you could sacrifice the Mask of the Spirit Drinker with a vial of summoning to get you a Mask of the Stitch Demon in this room. Okay. And if you don't have any vials, the secondary functionality of the table in this room will be in effect, i.e., if you sacrifice something of a class, a unique of that class, you'll get a unique of that class. So the tier 3 of it, I don't have any useful combinations with the tier 3 of it right now because I haven't done enough of these to get enough vials off the final boss yet. So your first run, this isn't going to be too useful. But once you got some vials, look up what the vials combine with, see if you can find that item, and then target this room. Otherwise, the tier 2 version might actually be the most useful thing if you want to get yourself a higher chance of mage blood. Couple of other key rooms here, and one of these we're going to actually look for in the maps. So if you see the Gem Cutter's Workshop, you want to get that to tier 3 and have it called Doriana's Institute. If it's tier 1 or 2, it's only going to give you a bunch of gems, but at tier 3 you can do a double corruption. So normally when you corrupt the gem, you can get, that gem can gain a level. Let's say it's a 20 skill or 20 points in it with 20 quality. Normally you can either become a Vaal variant of it, become 23 quality, or level 21. It's going to be one of those 3 options, or it just gets ruined. But double corrupting in this room lets you give the option of having 2 of these things happen. Okay, so you could get a level 21 with 23 quality. So this is, for many, is one of the key reasons to do Incursion. You could also get level 21 Vaal variant of it, or a level 23 quality Vaal variant of that gem if it's already 20 quality to begin with, for example. So that's one of the big things about Incursion, maybe the highlight of Incursion, in fact. Another room to look for is called the Locus of Corruption, which is a tier 3 corruption chamber. Okay, so if you see the corruption chamber, get that to tier 3 if possible. And this works similar in that it gives you double corruptions. Okay, as with all items that get corrupted, if you ever apply prefixes cannot be changed or suffixes cannot be changed in the corrupting process, it honors that. So for very, very serious items, you might want to keep that in mind. For me, I'm just going to use the second best version of some items to see if I can make them the best version of the item. Okay, and for most people, at least for noobs, that's probably what you're going to do. So when you double corrupt items in this room, there's 4 possible outcomes. There's a 25% chance of each of the following. Okay, it will destroy the item completely. Okay, so this is why you don't use your best item necessarily. The other option is it could re-roll all the stats according to the influence of the item, which could just brick the item. Okay, you can't, because it'll be corrupt afterwards. But the 2 things you're looking for are the double corruption. But keep in mind, if it's like a synthesized item where you have multiple implicits, it will only replace 2 of those. It won't add 2 more implicits to it. So I don't know if it's really worth it for a synthesized item. In my case here, if we get this, if I'm lucky enough to unlock this, I think I'm going to use it on my body armor. So I threw on a couple of Icors here to give me some default implicits. And you're like, if you're going to re-roll them and by double corrupting it, why waste that? Well, once it's corrupted, this can't be changed. So the reason I did that is because of the 4th outcome possible, which is it can make all my sockets white. I'm having issues with the color of my sockets. I wouldn't mind if these were all red, or 5 red and a green. So having 6, this is what I'm going to double corrupt because I got a new armor. This is now my second best armor. Okay, so if I'm going to corrupt it, I want to have some implicits. You know, I put a couple of cheap implicits on it, and maybe I'll get 6 linked sockets, right? Or 6 white sockets linked. That would be amazing. One last thing, in terms of double corrupting and getting implicits on the item, there is a special recipe that you can do that comes from sacrificing a sacrificial garb in this device. And this sacrificial garb is an item class of armor only found in the Atziri fight. And if you're not clear on how to get the Atziri fight, see these little things here? These sacrifice at whatever's here? That's how you find Atziri, okay? It's a bit of a tough fight, and that's a whole video unto itself. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on that. There's probably some other content creators out there that have videos on that. I killed Atzuri like 6 times trying to get a sacrificial garb to do this video, but none dropped. So, oh well, we can't do that one. But when you do the sacrificial garb, if you get that drop from, it could just be a normal item drop from Atzuri. You put it in this machine, the tier 3 locus of corruption here. You'll get yourself a shadow stitch, which is a broken 6-link. It's guaranteed 6-link armor with amazing stats on it. One of the highlights of doing it. So maybe if you're still doing it, Zeri, and you're working on that, you're going to want to consider finishing that up before getting into doing the locus of corruptions. So let's get on to some examples here. But before we do, let's do a bit of an interlude here. This is called Man Gets Pig Heart. So there was a man, again, I heard this from someone, a friend of me told this story, who had a pig heart. They didn't have a regular human heart, so they put a pig heart in him. And this is apparently a true story. Again, someone told me this. I never looked it up. So this is complete hearsay, but I just want to believe this is real. He apparently lived for 6 months after getting a pig heart transplanted into his body. Some people around him said he became very messy after the operation for some reason. They claimed he would oink in his sleep. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is hearsay. Okay, this is maybe what happens. Maybe the nerves cause certain winking behaviors or something. I don't know. Maybe this is a message to pork producers to consult heart surgeons on the best pigs to breed. Right? Maybe there's an idea here. Maybe if you want to go in deeper into it and you're into the conspiracies, maybe perhaps the Anunnaki considered pigs as a source of parts when splicing together the most recent human genome. Right? Maybe they thought about that. How can a pig's heart actually work on a human? Seems like it shouldn't. Right? The fact that he lived 6 months with that's quite amazing. But me, however, I want a cow heart for when I'm older. Okay, if I've got to get a replacement heart, I don't want something that's natural. I want it to be battery powered, and I want external booster cables so I can cheat nature in many ways. Okay, so there you go. Man gets pig heart. All right, let's get into some incursion gameplay, and we'll do some examples here of how I do them here. Okay. Say we got some seasonal content I have to clear here. I think I'm going to skip it for sake of this episode here. Okay. Oops, that was tougher than I expected. And I'll find some incursions. I'm hoping there's some here. There should be some. I only have so much recording time. Oh, you know what? I'm like, my skill's not activated. That makes this a little bit tougher than normal. Okay, don't want to die. Also, the description in this video, I have a little mini cheat sheet that just shows you like the only maps I really am interested in. If it's not on the list, don't look at it. It might be actually more useful than anything else here. Okay, oh, geez. As a tornado kills me. There's a bunch of tornadoes right beside it. What's going on here? There's so many monsters in this map. Okay, let's see, maybe over here. Let's do this incursion here. Okay, so we're going to look at Alva here. We're going to speak here. What have we got here? Okay, so this is upgrade. Okay, so this is a cool room. I believe this upgrades nearby rooms, which maybe it affects these rooms. So I'm going to kill the top right one in this situation because I want to get the tier 3 version of this. Like you can hover over these things. See this here? I could get the architect of the Nexus here, but we only have 2 incursions remaining, so I'm just going to get this one to level 3 to see if we can upgrade nearby rooms to a 1 tier, regardless of connection, okay? So we'll see if that works. Side note, you can do your buffs outside here, so do that first. I got all my war cries ready, and I'm going to hit the Quicksilver Flask as soon as I go into it. I'm going to kill the top right one here. I hit that here. Come on, get this here. Guess what? We're not doing renos. Just because we're rich doesn't mean we create jobs for people. Goodbye, Architect of Ceremonies. You'll see here I got a bunch of magic monsters. That's one of the skills that I put Atlas points in here. Okay, there we got a rare. If we had any rooms to connect, that could drop a key. And I'm just going to kill a bunch of things. Maybe we can find a flesh merchant here. There we go. There's the flesh merchant right there. There's some bonus loot. You'll notice too that look how generous my timer is because of all my Atlas passives. Okay. You might want to have a very specific, like a good enough build to do this. But look how much time I have. This is so much easier when you put some passives here. Okay, we've killed all the monsters here. I will head out and I will grab myself a bunch of loot. Okay. If you can't kill all the monsters, if you're regularly not getting even halfway through, you might not be ready. So that's another thing too. Okay. Work on your build. As I say this almost every episode, the most important thing is your build. And this upgraded. So I think this should allow for corrupting. I think that adds a level to that. Is this a tier 3? I think it might be. Upgrades all adjacent rooms by 1 tier, regardless of connections. So that's an adjacent room. I assume that's how it works. We'll see. We'll see when we're in there. We'll see how this works. That's part of making this video, is to see what actually works here. So here we found ourselves another Alva here. This was not as clean a map as I thought. This was actually tougher than some higher tier maps I just did. Just a bunch of nasty spawns. Okay, so what do you got here? Oh, you know what? I wouldn't mind connecting to that door just to make it a little quicker to navigate this area. But I'm at this point, since this is my final incursion, again, because I have all these skill points and I get all these Alva spawns, I can kind of waste them. So I'm just going to make the temple as fast as I can. If in theory we have something worth corrupting later. And I'm just going to get this to tier 3 and maybe connect to that top right one. So let's give it a go. I'll also demonstrate here the pause button real quick here. So right there, see we're paused. Okay. So that's something to bear in mind. Make sure you got that hotkeyed. This is the one I want to connect here. And this is the architect I want to kill. So let's do this fast. Kill some monsters real fast. See if we can get this guy here. We didn't get the spawns like last time. Oh, there's a rare. This should let me get the connection here because that's what rare bosses do. A little lucky it was right beside it. I hit my flask here to speed up. This is the main event though. This is actually what I wanted to do. So there we go. We've upgraded it now. If we kill everything else and get a flesh merchant, we just get some more free loot. Why not, right? You'll notice they're not all magic at this time because I think that's a 1 in 3 chance with that passive skill point that they're all magic like that. Was that the flesh merchant? I think it was. Oh, we're going to get this guy. We need more time. Oh, need some more monsters killed. Where's the flesh merchant? I don't know if I got it or not. Time's up, so there you go. So now we're done our temple. Is it the perfect temple? I don't know, but it's a temple. I get to do all my trash talking when fighting the bosses. They just die too fast. It's not epic enough. I had a bunch of things to say about architects. When I was going to kill one of the architects, I was going to say, Chad, you've been underperforming lately. We're going with something different this year. That was one of the lines I could have said, but oh well. I had 4 other lines. We gotta do roll for mage blood because we're gonna get it here. We don't need to use the altar of the unique room and the altar to get a mage blood. We just need to roll it, and absolutely nothing again. I'm so unlucky. I think I'd get these sooner. I've done this every show, and I don't get any mage bloods. It's such a ripoff. I got this crummy sash. It's like item level 65. It's so unfair. The game's so on RNG. That's the only thing. How can a person be good at it when it's so RNG? So just an FYI, if we do get to sacrifice, I am sacrificing this body armor. 6-link body armor. That's what it's for. Okay. When you go into the temple, be sure to have a stack of scrolls of wisdom. This place is so big that going back and forth, you want to save it up for deaths only. ID big items before you go out. Don't pick up everything, okay? So now that we've done the temple, you'll notice Alva has an exclamation mark above her head here. So we'll open the temple. And here we go. Now, this is not as hard as killing at Ziri, I don't think, but it is a tough zone and you don't want to be silly. Okay, so there we go. See, we got a Tempest. There's our first Tempest. Oh my god, I'm going to die right away. This is the map we just made with our incursions. Okay, we're in the stage where we're working our way into the temple. Okay, see these things here? Those Tempests, I want to jump in them, right? They give me bonuses. Look at that. Maybe, should I pick up the stuff? Yes, I will. I'll ID it and probably drop it. This is crap. Throw it away. And I'm going to throw that away because it's no good. Okay, so we're going into the temple now. And I'm just going to quickly apostrophe key the shortcut. It's the same one as doing the incursions. I'm here. I want to go to... I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to skip some of these rooms here. I don't know what, like there's going to be, this adds heals monster effect to the monsters. I don't think there's anything too interesting there. I'm just going to go here and then sort of do all the tier 2 rooms or higher and see what there is. See, look, we can do our corruption. So I'm going to have to port back to grab that armor. Actually, the armor's on me right now. So we'll see what happens with that. The temples are a fair size. This will take a while to clear everything out. If you clear everything out. Oh my. Okay, a Vaal Greatsword. We'll grab that. Probably give it an ID. Okay, I think we're going to do our corruption here. I'm going to get 6 linked white sockets in my armor. Just you watch. Oh, what is this? Some sort of boss. This isn't the final boss. This is just the room's architect or whatever they're called. This is, you got to kill them too. So there's one of the architects gone. There we go. There's the architect dead. Lots of nasties in this one. I've juiced this one up more than the last map, so that's partly why I'm having more difficulty doing it. So you want to jump in these? Okay, there you go. There's something. We got that. I forget what that does. I'll look that up later. We got something here. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's what was used to blow that up. My guess is that's how it works. Oh, we got to get another explosive coffer. It's probably on this side here. There we go. Then we can go in. We'll do this. Grab ourselves this here. And then while we're getting extra rarity, we will get nothing of interest. So there's the explosive rooms. Not the greatest of drops. Yes. Talking too much. Need the coffee. You know, I'm going to go around this way. But just because once I lose my armor, we got a whole other set of problems. I'm actually going to clear up to the boss, I think. Because if I'm destroying my own armor, okay, if I don't kill the boss, so be it. The Omnitect at the end of the room. We're going to quickly sweep to around this way and come through this way, through the Hall of War. I'm going to drop some things whilst dying. I'm going to drop things in my bags. While I'm here, I'm going to grab my new armor because I'm going to corrupt my current armor. This is probably a dumb idea, but hey, it's entertainment, right? Watch a guy brick his armor, his 6-link armor, and I juiced it too much. I flew too high to this. I got too close to the sun. My wings melted. Just like the Anunnaki used to when they were running human experiments. Oh, I'm so nervous about this corruption I'm about to do here. And again, because we unlock that corruption chamber, that's going to be like the highlight. If we don't get to the boss, it's not a big deal. That, like, oh wow, some interesting drops here. Oops, holy crap. I don't want to risk dying to something that doesn't give me any benefit. Let's check it out. Okay, let's go to the Hall of War. Oh my god, we're full already again? Again, you want to make sure to have some scrolls of wisdom with you. And not get killed by a monster while you're IDing stuff. And get rid of things that from your bags. Don't bring everything back, because if you use your portals, you're just gonna, and if you die a couple of times too, that's such an interesting shield. I don't want to throw that one away. The life regen's difficult too. So that's the other thing. When I juiced it, I added too much life regen. Though it does improve the odds of getting a vial of summoning, so that's the trade-off. Maybe this is a tip too. If you've died a few times, don't be wasting too much time. You want to at least get some attempts on the boss. Like, obviously get the corruption rooms. That's the main reason to do this. And other rooms with decent loot. Some of them are relatively easy, but don't be thoroughly clearing, because some of these monsters are very nasty in here. And I don't think I want to spend any more time than necessary clearing these rooms if I don't have to. Holy God, look at this. Oh, don't die. I can't lose any more lives. Oh no, there's a nasty. One of the nasties. I think we're just going to go this way. Jeez. Holy crap. Okay, I'm going to set up the altar. I don't know if we're going to kill the Omnitect here. So if we respawn, we're spawning right at the altar here. And we're going to call that an episode. If I can make it back here. Oh my God. This is way too rippy. We're not going to see the Omnitect unless I get lucky. I'm hoping to get lucky and get a nice corruption, and it's not. It doesn't brick my item. I'm going to let the RNG decide. We've cleared a way to the boss here. There's some ridiculous spawns that appear to be physically immune, and I'm not ready for this. But that just, you know, you're learning. You're going to see what's here. This is how tough it is. I haven't had much difficulty until this content. This might be a little challenging for you. You know how that challenge could be remedied? Is if I roll a better version of this armor. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Okay, this is why you do incursion. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to get to the boss. I've died a few times here. If this breaks my armor, I might not have the equipment to do it. But maybe I'll get some nice implicits. Maybe I'll get 6 white sockets. I really want the 6 white sockets. Let's go. Oh, I got the 6 white sockets. Yes. Okay, so now it might get easier. Now we're going to be able to put different gems in there. This is why you do it. Okay, so I'm not going to do a retake of this, even if I don't make it to the boss. I think if you... getting to the boss isn't as rare as what you just saw here. You know, essentially seeing how the locus of corruption works, okay? And you'll notice I had 2 implicits there just in case that specific situation happened, because now I have implicits on an item that's corrupted, and if I had not put those first, I couldn't add them. Not the best implicits, but now my second best armor is my best armor. Uh-oh. Come on, what's going on? Oh, I don't have my... oh, I switched my... I don't have a skill and I don't have a second to change it. When I switched the armor there, it took my skills off. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Gotta pay attention. This game is very unforgiving. It's almost as bad as World of Tanks. I keep saying that. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to kill the boss. I don't have enough respawns left. Maybe that flame room would have been of interest if he had a fire build. We're gonna spawn ourselves a portal in case we gotta zerg this. Spawn a portal right by the door. Okay, I only got a couple of deaths. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this because this is way more juice than I was expecting. So we'll see how this works. If nothing else, we've already achieved our mission. Look at this armor, just to be clear here. See, that's why you do incursion. Do you know how expensive it is to get the right color gems? Fully charged on charges, and we'll see if we can now kill this boss. We'll see if it's harder. Those rares were nasty. No promises. We'll get this done. We got room in our bags at least. I skipped a lot of rooms here. This is something you might have to consider too. Okay. I'm going to wait till one of the nexuses. There we go. Tempest spawns. Let's go. Gets that Tempest there, right? That's a big thing there. I've died several times on the way here, so I can't die much here. Nasty rare spawns. They are part of it. We got our awesome 6-link. Amazing. Just amazing new armor with... Make sure these guys don't get to it. I think they heal it. It's like the Atziri fight. You don't want too many to get onto it because it just adds more life to it. This is a juiced map. I juiced it too much. Oh, get off that. This seems like a good spot here. They're not... We get some more war cries up, more charges. Oh, maybe we'll do it. Oh, we don't have enough life. Oh, don't die. Oh, my God. Oh, it died afterwards. Let's see here. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Let's dump this in here. Not a clean fight. I've died for the first time while recording. Mind you, I'm not streaming, so maybe that's the bad luck charm. So we'll go in here. We'll see what we got. See what kind of vials we got. I was foolish. I was looking the other way for a second and no vial. We juiced it up for a vial, but we didn't get it. Oh well, some interesting stuff though. That might be an interesting flask. This was probably juiced a little more than I should have juiced it. Keep that in mind. Maybe don't go with too many, like, just take note of how many tier 2s and 3s here. If you're having difficulty with, you know, tier 12 content and you juice it this much, see some of these things here, like this heals monster, it does improve the chance that I get a vial of summoning, but the life regen and just the combinations of monsters that this created, this was well too juiced. I had to skip some of them just for time. I was here for a long time clearing this far. Didn't get any interesting vials or any interesting drops off the Omnitect here, but got ourselves some really sick armor. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about Incursion. And yes, I'll see you next week.